We're clearly all super excited for this next session. And I think it's different than many of the sessions we've seen. This is about the Israeli spirit, the Israeli mind, and the amazing things that we can create when we need to and when we work together. We have 5 incredible startup companies today, and we're going to have an exciting competition. 4 amazing judges. I don't want to call them sharks, I call them menches, because the sharks are outside of Israel and inside we're menches. So with that, my name is Arik Vrobel. I'm a tech entrepreneur, and in my other job, I co-chair the IAC Council in Orange County. Orange County in the house. And I'm glad to be here with everyone and see what is going on. So I will introduce the host for today. And I really think he needs no introduction. But if you didn't know him before, you certainly know him after yesterday. He had an amazing session talking about AI. So Dror Globerman, he has spent 25 years covering technology revolutions. Today, he co-hosts Israel's award-winning tech podcasts, writes a popular newsletter, and lectures at leading universities. He works with major organizations on how AI is reshaping work, decision-making, and our everyday life. As a founder of JumpStart AI, he helps people gain practical tools to stay relevant and confident in the times of rapid change. Let's welcome our host, Dror.
Right here. Thank you so much. Thank you for this kind introduction, Arik. Toda rabah. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you again, Arik. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever IAC Tech Show. I'm so thrilled to see so many have such a great interest in innovation, mostly coming from Israel and Israelis. So before we begin with the startup presentation, all the entrepreneurs are sitting right here, super tense, aren't you? Don't worry, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I want to invite to the stage Roy Rubin, an avid tech investor and former founder and CEO of Magento. Will you join me? Come. All right. Yeah. 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 Okay. So just so you know a little bit about the person to the left of me, for those who do not know. Roy is an entrepreneur, an investor, and community builder born in Israel and raised in the United States. He founded a consulting company that helped hundreds of merchants establish and grow their e-commerce presence, laying the foundation for what would become Magento, that was launched in 2008, and became the world's leading e-commerce platform, powering more than 250,000 merchants and over $100 billion in annual transactions. All that is correct?
I think so.
And today he's the managing director of R Squared Ventures, a technology investment fund backed by top entrepreneurs and investors in Silicon Valley and in Israel. All right. You know what? Let's address those entrepreneurs here at front stage, tense before coming on stage and using their 5 minutes to the maximum. Give them a bit of advice, but you don't have to calm them down. From my perspective, make them even more nervous.
Make them nervous.
Yeah, why not?
I know how to do that because
we want the show. We want the show here.
You know, listen, I think being enthusiastic and excited about what you're doing and showing that to potential investors, to customers, to partners is definitely a way to get the buy-in from the audience, the buy-in from the crowd, the buyers, you know, of your product or solution. So I would definitely encourage them to be super enthusiastic and be excited about what they're building. And I know this audience, this is insane, by the way. This is so amazing.
Thank you so much.
So well done. be excited. I think that's my tip.
So don't conceal your excitement. Double down on it.
Double down. You know, a lot of times, all of us as entrepreneurs that build products, we sit in an office. It's hard to look outside because you're so focused on the solution that you're building. So step out, be excited, show the world what you're doing, be passionate about it. I think that definitely is something that resonates.
All right. So you've built your personal life and your career between Israel and the United States, right? So how was moving between those two ecosystems shape the way you think about entrepreneurship and scale?
First, so I moved to the United States at the age of 9. I was born in Israel, and my parents migrated when I was 9 years old. And I was an immigrant when I was 9, moving here as a child. When I was 18, I went back to the military. I did Aliyah, I volunteered, I went back and served for 3 years in the military. And when I came back to Israel, I was also an immigrant, now in Israel. I came back to the United States when I was 23, being an immigrant again. So I think, first of all, this life of being an immigrant, I think, is something that definitely resonates. And being a founder and an entrepreneur, as you're struggling, as you're trying to really be creative and resourceful, having that grit and that ability to make something out of nothing, I think speaks a lot about just, all of us being here in the United States, many of us immigrants, creates that grit. So I think that's a big part of my DNA, and that's what, I attribute to a lot of the success that we've seen.
Yeah, there's kind of a cliche, right, that would say that Israelis would be rather good at starting things, and you need your American side to scale it. And you compose both of them.
Yeah, listen, a lot of building companies is about having the right product at the right time. And I think we've been very fortunate to have been at the right time and assemble a fantastic team around us. It wasn't just us as leaders. We had an amazing team that was able to carry forward our mission. We work with a lot of young companies now, and a lot of what we do is we really try to instill that DNA of being resourceful, creative, surround yourself with a great team, and I think it speaks a lot about what makes an entrepreneur successful. Those traits.
Okay, so let's talk for a minute to those entrepreneurs that might be struggling with timing, which you mentioned. When to grow, when to raise, when to say no. What piece of advice do you most often give founders at this crossroad?
The number one piece of advice I give founders is to stay focused. I think oftentimes founders find themselves getting pulled into different opportunities. Some customers are louder than other customers. Some partners are louder than other partners. So by staying focused, by staying committed to the vision, understanding, learning, adapting, but really understanding what it is that they're building, that is absolutely a key for success. So, oftentimes when we sit down with founders, try to really understand them and their mission, we really try to understand how they're going to stay focused and not get sidetracked and lose that steam and momentum that really drives towards success.
Yeah, but that, on the other hand, you might hear a story that says, we'll listen to the market, we changed our product, we did a pivot, and now look at us.
And that also happens. I think that's part of being adjustable and moldable and not being, with a very constrained, limited sort of perspective. It's important. But I think if you have strong conviction as a founder, if you have strong conviction as a team, and you're reading the signals from the market and you're seeing what the market informs you, I think staying true to that and really doubling down sometimes is where the founders can create opportunities that extend beyond what any of us can even imagine. That's where true outliers really get created. And there's, I'll give you an example, right? Take, Facebook and Meta, right? I think they started with a very narrow go-to-market, with a very narrow focus around colleges. And I'm sure Mark at the time got a lot of phone calls from investors and other people that said, hey, why don't you go bigger? And I think the perspective of we're going to stay narrow and very focused at first to be able to prove out this is actually working is what drove the success and the momentum and then that big opportunity moving forward. So listen, there's no good answer here. It's tricky. It's tough. If we all had the playbook in front of us, we would be able to do this over and over again. This is a very tough business, but there's those that succeed and those that don't, and there's some patterns that we can help navigate young founders towards in the process.
You started your business back in 2008. Today, 18 years later, there's another factor. If you were studying it today, you would find that you're working in an AI-driven, fast-moving tech landscape. So how would you focus? How would you decide what to focus on?
I think what today allows you to do is test a lot of different initiatives because of the pace and the speed of development and execution. When I was building, Magento had over 1 million lines of code. It was very complicated. It required tens, if not hundreds of engineers. We had a very big engineering team. Today, the same product would have probably needed, my best guess is 10 to 15 people maybe. So it's dramatically reduced how much resources you need in order to validate an idea. So I think what we can learn from it is that we can move faster, we can iterate, we can adjust, and our pace of evolution is so much greater with the technology today, and that's what gets me excited, that we can move so much faster and test things and deploy and really get market feedback in a much faster pace than ever before.
Mm-hmm. So you choose to look at the potential side rather than the risk.
You got to be an optimist, right? If you're in this business, either as a founder, founders are the biggest investors in their business. Yes. They invest their time, their reputation, often it's their best years into a company. So, a lot of times that's what we say to our founders. We say, you are the biggest investor. The conviction that you have about a business is the conviction that you need. You don't need my conviction, my seal of approval as an investor. If you have the conviction, we're going to try to really help you get to a better analysis maybe and, just think about things differently. But it's you that need to get to conviction. And we all have to be so optimistic about the future because that's why we're doing this.
So I want to wrap up with the last quite long question, but I expect a short answer. Being an Israeli working in a global arena right now could be complicated right now. What piece of advice would you give a young Israeli entrepreneur?
It's tough. After October 7th, we had to pause a little bit and think about just how we address things and what the impact is. We invest a lot in Israel. Most of what we do is in fact in Israel, but there's a lot that we do outside of Israel too, here in North America. And I have to tell you that I struggled at first because I didn't know what the right answer was. It was very clear to me what I needed to do, but also we're working with partners and founders. So it's a very complicated ecosystem. Today, I think you have to go out and be committed to the fact that we're Israelis, that we are proud of who we are, that there is no second guessing, about that. We're not trying to hide any of it. Today, I don't even give it a second thought. I understand the value, the uniqueness, the technology, the innovation coming out of the country, the DNA of the entrepreneurs, and I fully stand behind it, and I advise every single one of my founders not to hide, to be very proud of who they are.
I think that will be a good note for us to wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Rubin. Thank you very much. All right, are you ready to move on to the pitch part of our show? I guess you are. So let's begin with inviting our esteemed judges to the stage. First, the one and only Yasmin Lukatz. To those who somehow don't know her, Yasmin is a VC investor and the founder director of ICON, the Israel Collaboration Network, a nonprofit that aims to create a Silicon Valley-based community that supports Israeli tech. Yasmin has also gained recognition as a judge for Hakrishim, Israel's version of Shark Tank. Recently, she founded Code for Israel, the Israeli movement of high-tech volunteers. Welcome, Yasmin, to our stage. And now I'm honored to introduce Shelly Hod Moyal. That is lovely. Shelly is a finance and investment expert, a founding partner and a co-CEO of iAngels, and the general partner of iAngels Venture. Shelly co-founded and scaled iAngels and become one of the most active ventures funds in Israel. Shelly has recently joined an investor panel of Akrishim, so great to have you both. Last but not least, I'm happy to introduce Meital Shamia. Meital leads, Meital leads corporate venture, strategic investment and partnerships at Microsoft for startups, our generous sponsor for this event. In her capacity, Meital scouts and accelerates the most promising startups into Microsoft ecosystem. Meital, so grateful to have you here with us. And at last, it's the time for the real stars of the event, our startups. We have selected 5 of them. And first presenter will be GHF Golden Heart Flower. I'm happy to invite to stage Shlomi Schneider, founder, chairman, and CEO Yaniv Glazer. Shlomi and Yaniv, the stage is all yours.
There are over 7,000 rare diseases worldwide, affecting over 300 million people. In some of the Jewish communities, about 1 in 4 people carries a genetic mutation. So for us, rare diseases are not so rare. For me, it stopped being a statistic at the day it became personal. This is my mother, Shosh. She loves life, she loves people, and she loves to dance. Within a few years, she went from dancing to a wheelchair. During those years, she suffered from severe limiting symptoms, and she was also misdiagnosed with multiple sclerosis. In 2020, she finally got diagnosed with APBD, adult polyglucosan body disease, an ultra-rare genetic neurological disease that affects Jewish people. When we asked what could be done, the answer was simple: nothing. This is where my journey started, and this is when we realized that rare diseases are often not the focus of big pharma companies. My name is Shlomi Schneider. I founded GHF, Golden Heart Flower, with one clear task: to solve my mom's and my community's medical condition just because no one else will.
Hi, my name is Yaniv Glazer. I'm the CEO of GHF with over 30 years in the pharmaceutical and the biotech industries. APBD is an ultra-rare, slowly progressive neurological disorder. It has severe neurological symptoms followed by cognitive decline. As a result of a genetic defect, instead of producing glycogen, a waste material called polyglucosan builds up over time, leading to these symptoms. APBD patients are usually being misdiagnosed with other more common diseases, more common symptoms and diseases like ALS and multiple sclerosis. In rare diseases, there are advanced approaches like gene therapy, enzyme replacement therapies, providing, however, suboptimal solution. So we took a different path. GHF-201 is a small molecule drug developed specifically for APBD. It penetrates all tissues, including the brain. It is relatively faster, cheaper, and simpler to develop. And it works through a unique mechanism of action. It simply helps the cells or the tissue clear waste buildup, which is an amazing news to our community because waste is the root cause for many diseases. So here's where the magic starts. We actually found a platform that can help many diseases, both rare and more prevalent ones, like neurodegenerative diseases, ocular, and even anti-aging. To date, 201, a GHF 201, has already been used in 3 APBD patients, including Shlomi's mom, with over 11 cumulative patient years, demonstrating encouraging efficacy with no safety signal. With around $10 million raised to date, we're able to do many things. Among that, manufacture the drug under GMP, good manufacturing practices, complete long-term safety studies in 2 animal species, and we are nearing the completion of a phase 1 study in healthy volunteers. All of that in close alignment with the FDA after receiving orphan drug designation status. We expect to initiate a clinical trial with APBD patients in Q3 this year, and that we are on track to reach the market by 2028. This is an outstanding business opportunity, combining over $100 million potential value for APBD alone, while pursuing other larger indications through partnership. Behind that is a small, highly experienced multidisciplinary team. APBD does not have to remain a hopeless journey.
If there is one thing we invite you to remember, it's this. When it comes to rare genetic diseases in our community, if we will not take responsibility to find a solution, no one else will. And by the way, this is my mother after 1 year of treatment, fulfilling her dream to dance again. This is what becomes possible when a community takes responsibility. What we saw is that our molecule is already treating APBD patients, aiming to reach the markets by 2028, while paving the way to many more rare and not so rare diseases, including Parkinson's, ALS, and even anti-aging. If you're an investor, talk to us. If you are part of the community, help us spread the word. Connect us with those who can turn this into reality faster. Together, we can make sure that our community does not have to wait for someone else to do it for us. Thank you.
Thank you. What a start. What a start with that. Thank you, Shlomi and Yaniv. And now we want to hear from our 3 judges. Yasmin, I want to hear your feedback.
Is it on? Is it on? Does it work? Well, first, thank you for presenting, and I'm really amazed by the size of the audience here. It's so incredible that so many people like it. Yes. So thank you for coming and hearing us. I think your presentation was amazing. You started with a story. You really led us into it. We felt your emotions. We saw your mother. We understand why you do this, because being a founder is really challenging. And when you have this personal story behind this, it really ties you in the conversation. When you spoke about the rare disease, it made me kind of ask, is this a business or is this going to be a nonprofit? Because if it's going to make money, why wouldn't the big drug company, the big pharma companies look at it? And if it's a nonprofit, why are we here? So this was something I wasn't sure. I think also another thing is you need to tailor your pitch to your audience. This is not a group of physicians, so maybe more on the business aspects of this. I was left with a few questions. I wasn't sure, is this a medication or is this a homeopathic supplement? Who did you raise the money from? Who's in your team? Is it just the 2 of you guys? What have you done with the money? So I felt like you could have used the time better with focusing on the business aspects given the crowd. And I think the lesson is for every entrepreneur to kind of tailor what you present to whoever is in the room. So thank you.
So, thank you for that feedback. So rare diseases is definitely usually a very difficult side for pharmaceutical company to be interested. There are less and less pharmaceutical companies that this is their field. Obviously, APBD is an ultra-rare disease, so that this is even keep narrowing the opportunity. Although, as I said, it's actually a platform. And we actually replicated the outcomes, not only in APBD animal models and now obviously in patients, but also in 3 other rare diseases that are more familiar to the healthcare environment, where we were able to show similar impact or similar efficacy in other diseases, which definitely may raise the interest to pharmaceutical company. However, in this company, when the company was formed, we actually looked that time is of essence, because these patients don't have a treatment. Without that, they will deteriorate. So we kind of took a different approach. Instead of doing what pharmaceutical companies, which I worked for pharmaceutical companies for many years, we took a different way, and we tried to do whatever it takes to reach the market as soon as possible. And this is something which is unheard of. To get to the market with a pharmaceutical product, it usually takes 10 to 12 years to reach the market with several $100 million of spend. We plan to do it within 6 years and with something like less than 1/10 of it. So that's our challenge. When you're approaching pharmaceutical companies, they have a kind of a checklist to do. We didn't work according to the way the pharmaceutical companies. This is something that we plan to approach them and raise their interest once we are ready to approach and pursue the other indications. For APBD, since it's a very small disease, we plan to do it ourselves. And for that, we actually don't want to have pharmaceutical companies. So this was the approach, that was the strategy. So this is how we are acting so far.
I want to thank you, gentlemen. Short notes from either you, Shelly, or Meital.
Just a couple of points to add on to Yasmin's point. As investors, we always look for large markets, large opportunities, and scalability. So some of the things that you mentioned in the pitch are things that, as an investor, they scare me. For example, misdiagnosis. Because when you're thinking about a large market of $100 million, how do I access that $100 million if most people are misdiagnosed? Also, because it's a very rare disease, I ask myself, how sporadic is it? Is it potentially a market where the disease exists in Ashkenazi Jews, for example, or is it all over the world? And I need to sell all over the world to hospitals and potential pharmaceutical companies. $100 million is not a large market. So if you say that it's $100 million, then I want to hear a little bit more about why ALS and Parkinson might be the next step for you and how you're able to do it in a way that's scalable.
Sorry, gentlemen, I want to advise you to embrace the feedback because we need to proceed to our next startup. And of course, I'm going to ask all the participants to pay attention to time as we're short in time and we want to host as much as entrepreneurs as possible. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Give it up to JHF. And just I want you, dear audience, to acknowledge what a wonderful team of judges we have, all female, which is amazing. And also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mira Mendelsohn, who came here to be with us. Thank you so much for coming today and for everything else. Okay, in short. Next up is Simplex 3D. I'm happy to invite to the stage Aflalo, co-founder and CEO, and Shelly Hod Moyal, VP of Sales.
We're going to start with this.
I've been here a while. A little patch of city. They ran numbers, drew plans, made charts, but no one really saw me. until Simplex 3D took my photo. And just like that, I became a model. Well, a 3D one. Developers started noticing me. Ran the comps, checked my views, future buildings. They decided I was worth it. The architect dropped in, tried a few looks on me. Finding my style came easy. She said she liked my curves. They shared proposals with the city. Not just the building, how I fit in, the shade I'd cast, the life I'd shape. The city said yes. Then came the marketers and sellers who personalized my story for every buyer. The sunlight I get, the view from the kitchen, and the perks that make it home. They made choosing me so simple. Every glance, every click, Simplex remembered. And so did I. I used to be a question. Now, I'm a decision.
Thank you. Decision. Simplex 3D, we support real estate decisions from planning to approvals and all the way from marketing to sales. In Israel, Simplex 3D is already a standard. It is used by the entire real estate ecosystems, from developers, architects, appraisers, and basically everyone involved in real estate. But today we want to speak about a very important decision, one of the most important decisions a person can make in his lifetime, and this is buying real estate and buying a home. Try to remember your last purchasing experience. Shelly, what was it for you?
Well, for me, it was this jacket I'm wearing, actually. I went online and I looked at photos from front and back, and then I zoomed in to see the fabric, and I checked alternative, how would it go. And then it really had a questionnaire with 3 questions, like what size do you usually wear, and what is your favorite brand, and I don't know if you like it loose or fit. And then I shared it with a friend, and I asked, give me a second opinion. Finally, I decided to buy the jacket, and it looks perfect, right?
It's a great jacket, Shelly, but all of this work for buying a jacket?
Yes. Now, think about buying a home or a property, especially if the building is not even built yet, or you are a long-distance buyer in a different country. What do you typically get? You get a generic printed brochure with some 2D renderings, maybe even a floor plan or a story being told, or just a generic link to a website.
Yeah, and even if you had a great experience in the sales office, looking at fancy models or even putting a VR glasses, there is still a huge gap. How do you take this experience home with you? How do you share it with people who wasn't there with you? How do you compare with so many details after a few days? There's still a huge gap there.
How is it possible that when I buy this jacket, I can consult with a few friends to get a second opinion, but when I want to buy a home, I cannot share the apartment I'm considering with my friends? It's crazy, right?
Absolutely. And the gap is not just on the seller side, on the buyer side. Think about the seller side. When a buyer leaves the sales office, the seller is completely blind. He doesn't know what you're thinking about, what you keep coming back to, and what you really want to buy.
When we shop online, the sellers know exactly what you're looking at. They know how much time you spent on each item and how many clicks you've made. They can send a small nudge or maybe offer a discount if you are suspending your buying. And only 5 units left. Well, the sellers know exactly the demand, so they can do real-time pricing and change the price. But in real estate, in a decision this big, there is a huge gap.
So we decided to change that, and we've built Reels. Reels is set to clear that gap, to bridge that gap. Every decision would be then monitored and analyzed.
So what is Reels all about, or as we say, מה זה Reels בתכלס? It's a 3D model implemented inside the urban environment, so the buyer could have a great understanding and experience while his experience. You can see the apartment from inside and out. You can see the surrounding points of entrance, transportation. You can change the design and have a look at the view of each floor you're considering. And the greatest part, you can then take the experience home after the sales gallery meeting, and you can just scan a QR code and get a digital, customized brochure just to have a look after. It's accessible anywhere.
And for the first time, sellers get real behavior of the customer, real data. Every click, every share becomes an insight displayed on a dashboard. So you can now actually know how much time in which unit did you like during the sales pitch. But you know what, Shelly, our vision goes even further. Excuse me. Our vision goes a lot further than that. Soon, in our next development, marketers will be able to upload their entire information that they already have, floor plans, architect model, brochures, upload it from anywhere in the world, click generate, and immediately get access to our SaaS platform with the full 3D experience. Sellers will also have the option to change design styles of the apartment just by one click, just like you see here. This is a real project from 10 blocks from here in Miami.
So basically, it's fast. We make it, we take a few days to create a project like that in a fraction of the traditional cost. It's accessible, and it's flexible, yeah? So we can change anywhere. So if you want, you can visit our booth, or you can just scan this QR code and just see the digital brochure, but be careful. We know exactly what you're looking at.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well done. Well done. Thank you, Avi and Shelly. And now to our judges, Meital, why don't you go
For the sake
first?
of time, we want to suggest that we're going to offer feedback, and you're going to absorb the feedback and take it home. Otherwise, we're never going to leave.
I love that. Meital.
Hear me?
Yeah, it is working.
Okay. Great jacket and great presentation. Actually, I'm a bit curious to know a bit more about the technology behind. You didn't mention AI, but I'm pretty sure that everything is based on AI and generate everything so fast, because this is like a year of work of it's kind of work that took in the past a lot of time, and now it is you're able to generate much faster. And take this question further, it's like with all the rapid changes with AI models, how you keep yourself aside for competitor or other solutions that come in and can replicate it in the past.
Okay. Shelly and Yasmin, anything to add?
I can start. I think it's very challenging to present the whole business and the status of the company in 5 minutes. But I think I want to suggest maybe when you have 5 minutes, try to focus. So you had 16 seconds left when you're like, okay, so what do we do? You spent a lot of time on the problem, and I'm not sure the jacket analogy really helped you, because I don't buy an apartment the way I buy a jacket. I buy a jacket, I can return it. The opinion of my friends really matters. When I buy an apartment, I want to maybe consult with my family, with my close family. I wasn't sure, did you validate the problem? Is there really a problem looking at the 2D and the 3D imaging that the world offers now? What is your status? What makes you qualified to do this? How's your team? What's your go-to-market strategy? Is this a tool for real estate marketers? Is this a tool for consumers? There's a lot of uncertainty because you chose to focus a lot on presenting the problem and maybe the technology. So maybe my best feedback would be try to focus on the important things. I heard Sandra Hagee say yesterday, and I loved it. She said, don't major on the minors.
All right. I want to thank you, our judges, and thank you, Avi and Shelly, for your presentation. You can leave it here, don't worry. And also that, I appreciate it. Okay. Next up, I'm pleased to present ProArc Medical and invite CEO Gilad Hizkiyahu to join us. That is for you. That is as well.
Thank you. Wow, what an audience, really. This is amazing. What a wonderful cast of Lady Sharks. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'd like to start this with a show of hands. If you're a man over 50, please raise your hand. Okay, keep it on, keep it up. And if you have a loved one, a husband or a father who's over 50, please raise your hands. Okay, that's pretty much almost everyone. So you know what all those men have in common, although they wouldn't admit it most of the time? Many of them wake up multiple times in the middle of the night with one thought in mind: to pee or not to pee. That is their question. And when this happens, this could be a symptom called enlarged prostate, one of the symptoms of a large prostate, or BPH. It significantly impacts quality of life. In fact, the prostate is a gland that sits below the bladder, and it constantly grows as men age and applies pressure that chokes the urethra, making it difficult to urinate. And that, when it happens, it's not that rare. In fact, 50% of men over 50 and 90% of men over 80. So there's a good chance most of us will experience this at some point. Now, naturally, the market for solutions for BPH is huge, and it's constantly growing, just like the prostate. So companies that offer unique solutions that are adopted and approved by the FDA get acquired anywhere between $300 million and $1.1 billion. So let's see what those options are on the market. You go to your doctor, there are two basic options. One approach is resection, or cutting the prostate, allowing urine to flow by removing the tissue. Those options lead to lasting relief, but associated with higher elevated risk for sexual dysfunction and other problems, and are irreversible. On the other side of the spectrum, we see mechanical solutions that offer retraction without damage to the tissue, just moving tissue aside using stents or sutures. Those offer minimal risk and are minimally invasive, but also short-term relief. So in the end of the day, you have to choose which one is more important to you, safety or durability. And at ProArc Medical, we think it's unfair to make such a choice. So we developed the Omega, the world's first implant to treat BPH. It's a unique solution using an implant that is robust, arc-shaped, and it enjoys the benefits of both worlds. It's a mechanical treatment, low risk, but also durable, leading to a long-term treatment. Finally, you don't have to compromise anymore when you perform those treatments. This is how it works. We insert our device to the center of the prostate. We pull back the cover. The implant is preloaded in the center. We inflate a balloon to retract the lobes. Then we create a small incision in the prostate and leave the implant inside. As you can see, it constantly applies pressure, mechanical pressure, to open up the prostate and stays inside unexposed to urine, which means it will last way, way longer than other solutions. Okay, so we're a proud Israeli company based in the north of Israel. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're in the north of Israel, but our team of experts, our clinical advisory board, is comprised of expert US BPH, in fact, key opinion leaders of their field. We received multiple grants from the Israeli Innovation Authority and the Horizon 2020 program, the European program. And I'm happy to say we just finished a successful pilot clinical study. We have 10 patients around the world with the implant in their prostate doing great. In fact, our results are exceeding our expectations and are surpassing other solutions on the market. Thank you. So we have a solid IP portfolio, and you have a very well-defined reimbursement strategy to get to the market with the highest reimbursement potential of any other devices. Let's talk a little bit about the roadmap. So we just finished our pilot study, as I mentioned, and we're progressing forward. This is the amazing investment opportunity I wanted to present before you today to support our company this year and help us complete our verification and validation processes required to achieve FDA approval to launch our big pivotal trial. Because next year, we're coming here, the US. We will launch our big FDA-guided pivotal trial, 200 to 250 patients around the US and Canada, 15 different sites. At the end of it, we will be able to secure our FDA clearance and launch the device to the market or get acquired at this point. So this is an amazing chance, an amazing opportunity to join us and help us enter the market and change people's lives today. With your support in our technology, we can make America pee again. Thank you very much.
Woo. All right. Thank you, Gilad. I want to ask our judges, as you proceed with the feedback, also think about what did you like about the presentation? What was good?
Are you saying we're not nice enough?
No, I did not say that. I said
Okay.
something else. What was good about that? One thing you liked.
I thought his actual presentation skills were incredible. I mean, you walked in confidence. Yes.
Thank you.
You were funny. You had like a beginning, like a hook. You have these people participating and raising their hand, and you closed with something funny that tied to the beginning. In terms of like presentation school, this is like Top grade, A+.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I would add that we are 3 judges of female, and you maybe you didn't expect
The right
that.
crowd.
But so you approach to the crowd like who can be related to this subject. So this was very good.
I have an idea. We are females, but we have a crowd here of men. Something that I was curious, how many men here above 50 would feel comfortable in putting a product like this in their prostate? Can I see?
That's not a fair question, but
Wait, no. Okay, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, one thing. No, some people would be embarrassed.
Can I
No,
go with this?
I know. I'm going to say. I was
If you're willing to go with the alternative and risk sexual dysfunction, raise your hand now. Thank you very much. Go.
One thing along the lines that for me was missing was actually 2 things, but they're related. One of them is regarding the validation, how painful it is. Because the first thing I think about when someone tells me that there are no solutions or all the solutions are not good enough, then I ask myself why. This is already a yellow light. So, for example, surveying and really understanding like how much people are willing to do. For example, for women, all women over 50 go to the bathroom several times a night. Like it's totally normal. We're totally used to it. And the other question I have is around the sales process. So I want to know who are the people that find this painful. Because in most cases, when you're a medical device company, you're actually not selling to the person that's in pain. You're actually selling to the doctors or the hospitals or the pharma companies. And then you have to believe, or you have to have validation that they have a pain, that they feel that this is a huge market, that they can make a lot of money from it, and that they need your product. They have a pain. So this is something that I would have wanted to learn more about.
Can I answer, or
yeah,
do you have enough time?
Briefly,
Just
please.
briefly. Level of pain, we have 10 patients with this procedure performed. After just 24 hours, they reported no pain at all or mild discomfort, because we operate in an area that has very, very little nervous system, so it's almost painless compared to other solutions. So we're very surprised by that and happy to hear that. That's one. And as for the pain for physicians, so as you know, the market is driven by reimbursement, it's driven by profit. And that's why we teamed up with one of the world's experts reimbursement advisors that advised us to aim for a higher reimbursement level than any other devices on the market or under development that will increase the margin. And as for simplicity, this is a simple device, single implant, single use, very easy to learn. We call this in the industry see one, do one, teach one kind of device. And we receive very good feedback from physicians compared to other devices.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think one thing that's really important for people to say, I'm doing venture capital investments, and most of my investments are not in like medical devices or things that require FDA approval.
Mm-hmm.
I go for software, like B2B enterprises, and I think when people look at those investments, they think, oh, it's all the same, and it's really not the same. The journey, they're both good, but good in a different way, and the world needs more medical devices and more medicine, but the journey is so long and dependent on so many approvals that you need a special type of investor that will focus only on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Give it up to Gilad.
Thank you.
Luckily, I'm 49 years old. I'm going to live in denial for the entire year that remains for me. Okay, next up is Zing. I'm thrilled to invite to the stage Lior Ziv, clinical psychologist, co-founder, and CEO. Come up on stage. Would you need this? Go ahead.
Wow. So, what if I asked your partner, your best friend, your children, to draw a picture of you? Would there be an object or a theme that stand out? Think about that for a second. And now, take a look at how this 8-year-old drew his mother. He drew her scrolling on her phone. And why wouldn't he when our homes, our commutes, our nature escapes look like this? I mean, an average day means over 2,600 phone touches, 200 pickups, and over 7 hours in front of screens. And maybe you're thinking, I'll tuck my phone away. I'll put it on airplane mode, power it off, download one of the thousands of screen time apps. When there's abundant science that shows that the mere presence of the phone in our vicinity damages our cognitive, mental, social functioning. That's why at Zing we know that the only way to be without your phone in 2026 is to physically be without your phone. And you know who else knows this way better than we do? Silicon Valley tech executives that send their children to this hashtag phone-free school. That's why zinging means spending time away from your phone on purpose. And it's becoming one of the 4 pillars of health alongside sleeping, exercising, and eating well. Offline is becoming the new luxury. We're seeing digital detox cabins, offline clubs popping up left and right. 2026 has been declared the year of analog. And that's where Zing comes in. We're building a positive movement. Instead of tracking screen time, a very negative metric, we track Zing time, time you spend away from your phone. How do we do that? We have the Zing app. It's ironic, we know. But it connects seamlessly to this Zing ring that I have right here. And when you decide to tap Go Zing and choose you leave your phone behind and the app recognizes that you and your ring are away and starts logging that time, kind of like steps on your iPhone. And when you're done and you come back to your phone, you reflect on how it felt, how it feels to be away. You track your progress, you share with friends, and you unlock rewards. Kind of like a big hug our platform gives you, giving you insights, weekly progress, rhythm, and fun facts. We are sitting at the intersection of health, wellness, and productivity, all super trending categories, part of a massive digital well-being market that's growing exponentially in the last couple of years. Our business model is simple. It combines high-margin hardware and software, creating a bundle. And we are the people to get this off the ground. Guy, my co-founder, is a father of 2. He spent the last 10 years at Playtika and McKinsey. I spent 10 years as a combat officer in the Israeli intelligence, and I bring my clinical expertise as a child psychologist. And in only 5 months, we have teamed up. We've secured a $200,000 safe investment, and we've gone from 0 to 1. And I'm really proud to say that our pilot and pre-order are open right now. Our mission is really simple. We want to empower 1 billion people around the world to make zinging a daily habit because we care about their well-being. And all we're seeking right now is a $1.5 million safe investment to get things running. Because we know that right now, your week, our week, looks like this. And that's if you're lucky and you're Shomer Shabbat, right? But we also know that essentially this means this. And that's scary. So let's make sure that this little guy gets a hug at the end of the day. Join our movement. Scan to pre-order now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lior. Meital, go ahead.
I will take it. Okay. I think it's impossible mission, so good for the challenge. I'm just wondering, like, it's Shabbat today, and how many people are in the crowd not carry their phone today? Oh, it's
A
like
whole
very
5 people.
Yeah, very, very low percentage, but so you have like tough crowd to as a targeted audience. But I'm wonder is who are your targeted audience? Is like more of the young kids that now is connected most of the day, or more of like adult that looking for more to unplug and to have like more meaningful meaningful connection with the family without like everybody being on the phone or like disruptive?
First of all, I think it's a very audacious goal, very interesting, and I'm sure there are a lot of benefits to it. But in terms of the measurement, I mean, the first thing I ask myself is, isn't me not using my phone 1 minus screen time? Like, why do I need to pay for an app or a hardware to find out how much time I'm with or without my phone? Which actually brings me to the thing that concerns me the most. And it goes back to, am I founding a company or a movement, kind of a nonprofit idea? Because it's very hard for me to imagine myself paying for someone to tell me when I'm not with my phone, because I know when I'm not with my phone. And it's pretty easy to find out. And so in these type of cases, usually you're looking for businesses to buy, assuming that your product will go viral. But usually the business model for people that are buying are businesses relating to ads, businesses relating to eyeballs. So they actually want to pay for people that are looking at their phones, people that are addicted to the phones and want to just see, go back and like see more and more shorts and videos and ads. So that's my major concern. But I really like the presentation.
I think that it's really important to understand if we talk about children, which as a parent, I would maybe put money to prevent them from using the phone. And I don't think it's about knowing how much time you're away from the phone. I think it's about incentivizing you not to be on the phone with the rewards. Make it not just cool, maybe the rewards or other things that it can do. So I totally connect with the use case when it comes to parents trying to control the kids. But I'm not sure I connect when it comes to adults. I think there's so many benefits in being connected to the phone. I mean, I see my nephew controlling his sugar level through the app on the phone, and his dad, I took my nephew on vacation abroad, and he has diabetes, and I get a call from his father, who's at work in Israel, saying, he has like an alarm, can you check on him, is he okay? And it turns out he overslept, and when we were able to see that everything's okay. So there are a lot of benefits from having the phone. You control, I know if my kids are okay, if they need help, I'm there to reach them. I would hate being away from my phone and something happening or something that I couldn't control otherwise. So I'm not sure. I'm convinced that I want to be, that I want to incentivize myself to be away from my phone. And I'm just maybe a sample of one, but I would like as an investor to see a more in-depth validation of the problem. I think this is a mistake many entrepreneurs make, that they try to find a solution and they're not sure there's a problem. And you need to leave the building, like Roy said before, we're stuck in the room and we're looking at our solution. Get out of the building, go talk to people, try to validate, ask questions.
And if I may add to what you said, Yasmin, the question of incentivizing, I think the incentive to not be with your phone and be with the kids, your prize is being with the kids, not an app that gives you...
Unless it's for kids, and then maybe fine, they get rewards, they get points, they can do something in a game. So that's it's like a whole different ballgame, I think.
Okay, I think it would be fair, Lior, to give you a whole 40 seconds to reply to everyone.
Okay, so I'll just say one thing. I think that it is very difficult to grasp being without our phones, right? Especially in Israel with existential threats left and right. And what I tell people about that is if you can find a time in your day, your week, your month, that's suitable to be without your phone, just as an example, if you're a family of 5 going out for dinner, maybe you don't need 5 phones that leave that house, right? And then maybe we also solve being available for an emergency or something that happens, and slowly we start to build that habit. So maybe I answered some of what your concerns were. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give it up to Lior Zing. And one thing I'm sure we have no argument about is how important it is to control, right, our time with device vis-a-vis our time with our family. That's of course. Okay, that's for sure. Last presenter for our tech show is Xmetix, Edan Razinovsky, CEO. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Sharks, everyone here in this room. If somebody started to bleed right now, would you know what to do? Or would you? Unfortunately, you would? Yes, you would. Unfortunately, most people don't know what to do. And it's not because they don't care, it's because they don't have the proper training or they don't have the proper tools to do so. And today, when we look at what's happening all around the world in terror attacks, unfortunately, the loss of blood in a trauma situation is the #1 cause of death. Who here served in the IDF? Raise your hand. Look at that. And who here served in the last operation in Gaza, in the last war just now? So then you all know that this manual tourniquet is designed for professionals to use in a high-stress situation. But unfortunately for us, we're human. And in a high-stress situation, when the bullets are flying, the blood is flowing, and the screaming happening, this does not work because we as humans do not work. And this fails up to 80% of the time. And that failure causes death. My name is Edan Razinovsky, and I'm the CEO of Xmetix. I'm also a combat fighter in Chativa 551, Dud 78. I know what it's like to have your friend's life literally in your hands. And we've automated so much. We've automated ventilation, insulin injection. We've automated everything that we can, but we're still using this in a mass casualty incident, or on the battlefield, or in Bondi Beach? No. Ladies and gentlemen, sharks, there's got to be a better way. There has to be a better way for us to stop the bleed and save human life. I'm very happy to share that at Xmetix, we have developed that better way. I'd like to introduce you all to the TAC 710. And yes, 710 is an homage to the 7th of October when this was thought of and designed. The TAC 710 is the world's first fully automated fire and forget tourniquet. The TAC 710 is simple to put on, and it's not concept anymore. The TAC 710 is currently being used in Israel, in Europe, in the United States, and most recently in Australia after the Bondi Beach incident. And even with a microphone in hand, I'm going to show you. You pull a pin, push a button, and now it is constricting my blood flow, and it hurts. But that's okay. No, it's okay. We'll show how tough I am. You know? So, sharks. The market size here is a $10 billion a year market. Most of that is actually civilian spend. Government spend about 35%, make up about 35% of that. And the case in point is, I went to Gaza, my gear wasn't great, what did I do? I went home and I bought my own stuff. Because sometimes governments and militaries and fire and EMS, they provide gear, but it's not great. Right now, what we've done to the tourniquet market is fully automated it. Just like what we did with the AED and defibrillators about 20 years ago, now every single one of you and you can stop the bleed in any terror attack or any mass casualty incident. We currently have 4 patents. 1 is granted here in the United States. We're listed with the FDA, CE, AMAR, and most recently in Australia. This is constricting, so it does hurt. There we go, I loosened it up. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're commercializing right now, business to government. We're also B2B and B2C. We're doing a $2 million raise right now that goes to reducing the cost of production of the product, also R&D and commercialization and sales throughout the world. The team, I'm going to most notably say here, talk about Dr. Avital Kundrich. He's an Israeli Navy SEAL and a trauma surgeon who helped develop this product. And now I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to let you guys know something. So Xmetix is part of Next October. Next October is an organization that takes startup companies like us and it links that to families of fallen soldiers. This is Dr. Eitan Naiman. He's a friend, and he was killed on October 9th, 2023. This picture of Edan is the last picture of him about 40 minutes before he was killed. Our unit came to Sderot, and over there he fell in combat. Dr. Neyman was a pediatric ICU physician who on October 7th started saving lives, suited up, put on his uniform, and came to fight in the front lines. So I just wanted to take a moment to mention him because Edan, his entire concept in life was to save human life. And what I'm asking for you guys today is to allow us at Xmetix to help save human life and let every single one of you have the power to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edan, for this so moving delivery. And I hope your right arm survived.
It's good. It's tingling, but it's good.
It's good. Shelly, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, Edan, I wanted to compliment you on the presentation because in one presentation, you presented to us in a very clever way the problem, why you're passionate about it, which is very important to me because I want to know that the entrepreneur is going to work day in, day out to make this work, and there are a lot of ups and downs, and connected it to the business use case. And the fact that you already have traction and you already have customers as an investor gives me a lot of comfort. I have a few questions about the market. For example, is the 10 billion, is that people that suffered from trauma, or is it people that were actually in a situation where someone applied a tourniquet to them? Because when I look at this, again, I ask myself, who is the customer? And you mentioned the defibrillator. So that signaled to me that you're thinking B2C. And I'm asking myself, how many people would I, or people in the audience, because I am buying a defibrillator for my mom, for example, but I wouldn't necessarily buy a tourniquet because it's such a rare event, and people that experience it usually experience it once. So that's my first question. The other question is regarding the people that are actually buying it, the armies of the world. How many of them have these acute situations? The hospitals. How painful is it for them? How many people see a soldier that died in the field and actually blame the person or the tourniquet that was assembled by the person? Because you yourself said that the issue is usually training and not the tourniquet itself.
Thanks. So I'll answer that. Sorry, if that's okay. So the first part, who's buying this? Raise your hand right here if anybody's ever been in a car accident or has any issues or something like this where they had EMS come out to them at some point in their lives. Oh, not that much. All right, well, this is a good crowd. But the people that are buying it are the first responders that are buying it for themselves personally. A lot of times government takes a long time to buy things. So for example, right now we're being asked by people in Israel and all over the world, police officers. Actually, the Hollywood Police Department here, I don't know if you guys have noticed, they literally took cash out of their pockets, the police officers, to buy it from us. And we had one donor who actually bought it for them here as well. So thank you to that person. So those are the folks that are buying it from their own cash and not from the government. Government is buying this at about $3 to $4 billion a year. Tourniquets have expiry dates. So after 5 years, you have to go ahead and throw it away and get another one. So that's just a little bit on that.
Okay, two questions. You started with saying like this is a device that today people using in the army purposes. First, addition to what you say, like today most of the life loss is not like in the combat injury. It's not because of the injury itself. It's because of the bleeding. So this is how important is that, and this is why everybody like in the basic training get some kind of training how to use it. Also, today's special unit actually go into mission when they wear on themselves the device because they, in actually cases, they want to be sure that they able to like jump from one person to another. So back to the question: is this device is for civilian, aimed to civilian purposes, or both?
Civilian and military. Currently, right now, some special operation units in the IDF are using this because it's a lot faster and easier for somebody to put it on themselves and or put it on a friend. Unfortunately, when there's a terror attack or you're being, anywhere you're at where this can happen in the military or police, you have to do it quickly, and this is very fast. In the civilian world, people go hunting, fishing, shooting ranges, rock climbing. They could break their leg, and if you break your leg or a femur, you're going to have to put a tourniquet. So these folks are carrying tourniquets throughout when they're going out.
I have a comment too. You spoke about a B2G case, which people who don't know is selling to governments, business to governments, B2B, businesses selling to businesses, and B2C, businesses selling to consumers. And I can see how all those three cases have some rationale. I think the B2G or the B2 armies, I guess, is the most appealing. Every soldier carries two. If you could replace all of those, that would be an amazing market opportunity. But the piece of advice that I want to offer you is you can't start with focusing on all three use cases at the same time. You're a small company. I'm sure your staff is not hundreds of people. The money that you raise, your resources are limited. Your attention span is limited. You have to start with the market might be huge. There might be many opportunities, but think, what is the best go-to market for you? What is the best approach for you? And start there. I'm not sure it's consumer. I'm not sure what the most value is, but it's for you to explore.
Okay, let's embrace. Thank you very much, Edan. Give it up. And at this point of our tech show, I would like to thank everyone, all the entrepreneurs that presented, but we first respect every one of you, but we need a winner. So I want to ask all our judges, you can take your time, but just a few minutes, right here in the green room, very fancy green room is expecting you right there, to think about who shall be the winner and take a prize from us today. And until you do so, I would love to offer you, ladies and gentlemen, just a few minutes, something for you on how to handle what is coming or already happening to us right now, which is the big shift of our time, I guess. And the question I've been asked so many times, not only during those 2-3 days, but I guess during the last 2-3 years, what am I doing with all this AI? So I want to give you a few points to think of and perhaps some points of advice, some bits of advice for you. But before that, I feel like I need a whole new introduction to myself, and therefore I brought a very close friend who will do that for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for something truly special. I'm here to introduce Dror Globerman, a real standout in the world of innovation and technology.
That is right.
This guy is phenomenal. Not only has he been the face of some of Israel's most acclaimed TV shows on Keshet, the biggest channel out there, but he's also been the voice on Galei Tzahal,
it's
the
enough. It's not
national
about
radio,
me. It's enough.
and
Put
the
it down.
mind
Put it down. Put it
behind
down.
Israel's top.
Some of you are like, oh my God, how did you do that? And some of you probably were like, oh, come on, what is so phenomenal about that? I've just seen like a few dozens of clips like that since the week started, right? All the internet is full with video clips just as this one. And I think this points out the single virtue, most important virtue of AI. It gives everyone the capability of producing things that are unimaginable just 2, 3, 4 years ago. You could have made clips such as this 5 years ago as well without AI, but you know what you need for that? A crazy computer and a crazy programmer, 3 months, $1,000, very good reason, huge investment. And now, everyone can produce this using this very smart and unique device, an iPhone. I need 2 minutes and less than 1 cent. So the entire equation of the input and the output, how much time and effort and skill and machines I need to put in order to achieve what kind of product has collapsed or redefined during the last 3 years that generative AI has embarked and changed our lives. And the other thing that we need to think about is the pace that this technology is moving. Unbelievably fast. Whatever you see is improving within a week or two or a month or two. If it's unimaginable, just wait until summer. It will happen. And there's also an externality to think about. The video clip you just saw. Imagine we sent such a video clip to 100 random Israelis or Americans, not inside a tech show, just during their day. How many would be deceived to believe this is authentic? Everybody? You said everybody? You said no one. Another assumption? 25. 50? Okay, let's agree it's going to be an important percentage of the people that could be deceived by existing technologies that everyone can use. Do you see the points connected? Almost everyone, with no specific training or knowledge or machine or money, can deceive millions around the world. This is the world we live in. And this brings me to the first point I want to make. Is AI already overshadow human judgment? It's a question. I don't know the answer, but I know I need to think about that. And I need also to ask myself, who said this is so bad? There are times in which letting AI overshadow my judgment is a good idea. If I'm consulting it for the purpose of my profession, and it gives me an answer I did not expect. It's different than what I thought. Maybe it's a time to say, you know what? This is right. I was wrong. Let's embrace, as we just did right here. Maybe a good example for that would be autonomous vehicles. Probably many of you have used them. Yes? Is there anyone here that will not use an autonomous vehicle? You will not, sir? Why not? You don't trust them. Can you tell me what is your alternative? What is your alternative? Drive yourself. You trust yourself more. Are you better than that? You don't, you know. Good answer. Let me tell you, autonomous vehicles driven here by Waymo, Google's Waymo, they perform over 1 million rides a month now. In various cities across the US, of course, San Francisco is most famous to be a home of such vehicles. They have captured over 25% market share of the entire taxi business in San Francisco. And the last safety performance review that Google did a year ago revealed that the amount of insurance claims that were submitted on 25 million miles of joint cumulative rides, the number was 8%, comparing with the average human driver, minus 92%. In other words, it's 12 times safer. Do you still trust yourself, sir? It's not a personal question. Actually, it serves my purpose to say that in a world that is moving so fast, we are often presented with opportunities to upgrade our life, personal life, or our jobs, or our tasks as job, that we sometimes might overlook because we're not used to that. And think about that. The opportunities come in an ever-growing pace, and the opportunities themselves are bigger and higher. And we might say, no, I'm not used to that. And of course, as we grow old, let me tell you, as we grow old, adopting new habits becomes trickier every year. And I want to advise, specifically the older parts of the audience, such as myself, to adopt a new habit, build a new habit, break old ones. Just get rid of old habits in purpose. This is what I'm trying to do. Get rid of my habits and try to adopt, even though my instinct sometimes would say, don't touch it. No, I will touch it. I will try. Give it a chance. And I guess we agree that this world is moving so quickly, right? On technology and economy and diplomacy and politics and war. And wherever you look, things are changing so quickly. We're in an ever-growing feeling of chaos. Do you agree with me? Yeah? Are we part of that? And technology has, of course, a lot to do with that. I'm reminded with the visit of Donald Trump, President Trump, to the Gulf a few months back. It was in May, and the deals that were signed there were across 3 dimensions: arms, energy, and AI. Artificial intelligence, within 2.5 years from the point we all became aware of its importance, artificial intelligence grew to the same magnitude of F-35, right? Or oil. It is that important that empires would cut deals across those 3 dimensions, and the deals themselves are not about millions of dollars and not trillions. It's in the trillions and in the quadrillions of dollars, the deals that were made. Nobody expected that. So when we're trying to plan ahead, let's leave more room to changes that we do not anticipate. That is to say, planning sets the stage, but proactive response wins. We got to be proactive all the time. You have a plan. Have a plan. It's very good. But always be ready to respond and change the plan. Because this is what times calls for. I guess this is not the audience I need to convince that AI changes everything and every profession or expertise. And I did the same change myself as well. I used to be a news personality, a TV host, and I've made my own changes. I want to tell you a little bit about the change I did and the challenges I meet. One challenge. So I took my knowledge and I made it an online course in which I teach people how to use AI tools, and that's right now in Hebrew. Will expand to English. It's called JumpStart. And that business of mine, that my initiative, has a very big challenge. Because AI changes so quickly that whenever I record a lesson, within 6 days, it's gone. There is an update. Somebody else just issued something. The price has changed. The quality has changed. I want a process that will sort it out. Can AI solve the problem that AI created? Let's try. So I found that there are a few services now that will allow you to build an automation out of clear prompt. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you can see a prompt, just plain English text that defines my business challenge, which is take my transcript of my lesson, go over it, and once in a week, give me a report that says, in your course that teaches vibe coding on lesson 4, minute 9, you said this, it's outdated. So here's my recommendation. I want the AI to recommend. Instead of that, say this, and here's a link to verify all that. Why do I need the link to verify? Because AI, remember that, AI makes mistakes. Who is responsible for the product? I am. So I need to see in my own eyes that the recommendation is solid. Okay. So I write my challenge as a prompt, and I get the process that you see on your right-hand side. It just was created by the system, an automation that solves my problem. So I hit play, work, and I expect my problem to be solved. What do I get? Nothing. I got a shitty report. Horrible. The remarks I got were almost worthless. Everything important was not mentioned in them. Alapanim. Okay, so I try again. I change the prompt. I use a different service. I go to the competitor. It's not working yet. I spent more than 12 hours and $150, and I'm still doing it manually, the updates. And I want to ask you, did I waste my time? No. What did I gain? Knowledge of what? Good. So I want to describe to you the process I was going through, because I think that is the process we all need to share in this time. First, self-motivation. No boss told me, listen, here's your process. You need to find a way to automate, to make it more efficient in this and that tool. Nobody told me that. I need to understand myself. Motivation. Secondly, I need to decide which of the processes I'm spending my time on I'm going to try to automate first, because there are plenty of them. So I'm choosing this one. And then I need to find the tool, because they are being created in an ever-growing pace. Which is the right tool? I have no idea. Nobody knows. I'm going to try and spend my time and money on. And then, when I have a process, I get a product. For me, it's the update report. Is it good? Many people would stop in this stage and say, I think it's good enough. No. You're going to be responsible for your business. Look at the output and give it a fair judgment. It might be not so good. Try to improve. And again, and again, and again. This is life. You agree? This is life. And once I will achieve this, once this will work right, am I done? No. Over again. Find another process. Try to automate again. Learn another service. Maybe expand to different markets. It's an ever-growing pace of change that we need to deal with. But I want to really encourage each and every one of you to build your own machines from existing parts. All the softwares, all the services are already there, out there. Just harness them to your goals. And there are so many different ways to do this without knowledge in code or high money investment. You don't need that. You need to use your imagination. Can I build this tool? Can I solve my problem? In what way? Can I try it? Use your imagination more. Many people fear that lots of professions are going, and I found this for the Hebrew readers. This is an article from, can you guess when was it published? What year? It says, the headline says, programming is a profession without a future. And this article was printed, believe it or not, exactly 40 years ago. 1986. And you know what's really amazing? Look, again, for the Hebrew readers, on the right column, like 2/3 to the down, the reason that programming has no future is because AI. This was printed 1986. I verified that. It's not AI, the article. And people are really fearful for their profession. And Goldman Sachs helped inside this fear. And I think what we understand now that is this is not exactly where things are going. Maybe this conversation on X better describes it. AI is going to change how software is created, but the world's still desperately going to need software engineers. So Brian there is asking, so I'm not going to be useless in 5 years? And the reply is, no, you'll be 10x more valuable in 5 years. Provided that you're going to use those tools. And this is what everybody is saying now. World Economic Forum describes this as the transformation in job loss. But I think if we focus our sight on the gray dots in the middle, like the over 1 billion jobs that nothing will happen to them, this is not true. I think this is more true. Everybody's changing. Just to stay in place, you need to adopt the new tools and understand where your unique value is going. So this cliche, I think, is proven to be more and more right in every passing day. AI will not replace you, maybe the person who is using it. This is so true. And this means that we, as individuals, organizations, and nations, have to navigate ourselves in an ongoing change. I will skip forward a little bit because we want to hear who is the winner. But I do want to share this last point. These are researchers that have compared doctors with AI. How well doctors can understand what it is you suffer from vis-a-vis AI, and AI is winning over and over again. Now, I understand why using AI in the area of medicine is doing with lots of caution. FDA has to work like FDA does, right? It's life on the line. But each and every one of you who is not saving lives, can you take more risks? Can you spend more of your time? Can you try more tools? Handle with failure? Embrace the failure? Try again? So I want to advise everyone, take more risks. Thank you for your time. I hope you can take some of it. And now, thank you so much. And now I want to invite our judges, Yasmin, Shelly, and Meital.
Okay, so we took the time and we reviewed the 5 amazing companies. So first, actually, I want to thank everyone. What a great presentations. It's not an easy crowd. Thank you. And we could come up here and say, this is the winner. But we actually think that's not as interesting, because we all think that what is interesting is what just happened in the back. What investors really think. How do they look at things? What are the pluses? What are the minuses? This is what we really like about the Shark Tank, that you really see the investors' thought process. So we decided to share what we thought about the top 2 and kind of what was our process by deciding. So go ahead, Shelly.
So one of the top 2s was Xmetix. So first of all, we were very impressed with Edan. This is basically a product that saves lives. It's very close to home for us. We know how important it is. And he has customers. He already has traction. On the other hand, we know that despite the fact that it's a $10 billion market, we can't actually expect that in all cases of trauma, there's going to be a device readily available to cater to that trauma. So we have concerns about the size of the market, because even if the market is large, then most people in the world are not thinking about them being in that situation, in that rare situation, to the point that they want to have one at home. And on the other hand, there are places that do have problems, like in Israel, that we have wars, that we have a real need in the army. But on the other hand, Israel is a very small market. And even we hope that eventually we have less wars. So these were kind of our thoughts around Xmetix.
And then we also like ProArc. ProArc that's trying to solve the Make America P again. Not only the presentation was great and funny, we thought this is he's tackling quality of life issue. And we see that, this generation, quality of life, or with us, quality of life becomes more and more important. This is something that we care about. He already has, I think it was 20 people that have tried the product, that is moving forward with this tedious process of getting all the right approval. We thought it has like a virality, it could be viral. I did the process, it was amazing. I'm going to recommend it to my friend, and I'm going to recommend it to another friend, versus the tourniquet that I'm not sure how viral it is. Oh, you got to buy this tourniquet that I bought. We also thought there's it's very defensible. All the technology behind this and everything that he's doing, all the pattern is very defensible. So it was really, really tough to make a decision. But at the end of the day, we had to come up with a decision.
So basically, we convinced Meital from Microsoft to give 2 first prizes.
Yeah. So we did got an exception, and we were very delighted to give away to 2 of the startups. We are proud to give up to $25K to Azure and AI infrastructure from the latest AI model of Microsoft. Give access to 2 months in our office in Tel Aviv to come and visit and work from our office, and have 10 hours of one-on-one session with expert in your vertical and domain.
I actually want to say something, because Meital was a very critical person in helping us make a decision, because Meital actually applied a tourniquet to herself and has experience in the market and actually knows a lot about the competition.
So we have 2 winners. Are they coming on stage? Yeah? Will you come? Edan, Razinovsky, and Gilad, Hizkiyahu, please come on stage. I want to acknowledge all the participants that were great. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for the winners. Thank you for all the entrepreneurs that presented here tonight, this afternoon. See you at the next tech show.